Marketing, according to Mr. Soum Sambath, he said have two parts. We talk about marketing is we want to talk about 8P, 8P, and four P at the, we can say left hand side is strategic P's, and left hand side is strategic P, and right hand side is tactical P. And Mr. Sambath, he talked already about strategic P. Number one is partner. Strategic P number two is people. But now come to P number three is product. Okay, Mr. Sambath, can you explain? Because I see Cam-paint factory have more than 40 products. That is a Cam-paint product. That is a local product made in Cambodia. So I would like to know, how is your strategy in your product for compete with the international painting that they have more than 100 years already that compete each other in Cambodian market?
Okay, thank you so much that having me here in this program. Actually, when it comes to the question of competition with the competitors that having in the market, for some competitors, they are in the market for more than 50 years. Some competitors are in the market for almost 100 years. For Cambodians, especially the local entrepreneurs, they think that the local company or Cambodian company cannot compete with this multinational brand, okay, or with the international company, because they are too long in the market. And for us, being a small company, we just start the business. Okay? We are very small, and it seems like we know so little, and they know about a lot. To me, I say, yes, it's true that they are many years in the market. They have a lot of experiences. They are international company. It's true. And we are local company. We just start. But that is true. Something like we can do about it is not a matter of how long you are in the market, or it's a matter of how much experience that you have. Because most of the time, the numbers of experience that you have may consist of the bad experience and the good experience. Okay? The knowledge that you have may consist of the knowledge that is update and the knowledge that is out of date. Okay? So to me, I don't think like we need decades or hundreds of years to have experience to make or to produce a good product. As long as we have a strong commitment, as long as we are willing to learn, we are willing to develop, we can produce a good product or even the great product. When we compare our product to the good product that is better than the good product, that is the great product. Yeah. Okay? And in my research, in order to develop my own company as well as teach to other people, I come up with 5 principles in terms of product quality development. So these 5 principles consists of, number 1 is supplier. When people ask me, what is the most important if I were the startup, the business, what is the most important? I think the most important is suppliers. Yeah, because supplier is is everything from the start. Because if you have good suppliers, you will have good raw materials, you will have good pack materials, you will have good, something like if you are in the service industry, something like, okay, if you connect to the Wi-Fi, if you have the good supplier, your Wi-Fi is very good. Something like, okay, now we are doing the record of this show. If you have the good camera, if you have the good video camera, if you have the good sound system, if you have the good microphone, yeah, that you're buying from a very what we call a trustworthy supplier, then we can make this program is a very good program.
Yeah, I hear you said that your company now have ISO, but ISO can telling you how is the process to select the supplier for a good supplier. How the process that ISO recommend to you?
Definitely, I will talk about how the requirement of the ISO later.
Yeah.
I would just prefer to continue a little bit on the on the supplier a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, so just bear in mind that the supplier is very important. Yeah, the supplier is very important. If you want to start the business and success, make sure that you engage, you deal with a trustworthy supplier. Okay? Because if you don't, and if you do not engage, if you don't deal with the trustworthy supplier, your quality, your product quality becomes so lousy because your supplier is your teacher. The supplier can teach you. You can learn a lot of things from your supplier, especially the technical knowledge from the supplier. You will have a certain know-how from your supplier to do. I mean your jobs or to make your product. Secondly, when you have a trustworthy supplier, what you need to further work with your supplier and your team is to do the research and development. I encourage that if you want to grow your business very well, you need to be strong in research and development. No matter how small you are, but you need to pay attention. You need to have time management to do the research and development. Everything, even you engage in the service industry, because the question is, if I do service industry or I do trading, do I need to do research and development? My answer is that everything you need to do research and development. Because research is to get to know what is happening in the world. Development is to come up with something new to your market, to bring value to your market, to add value to your market. If you do not do research and development, you don't have anything new. You have nothing to add to the market. Okay. So let's say now we have done a good research and development. We come up with a very good formulation. We come up with a good recipe. So how to make sure that the output or the final product is good? We need to do a few more steps. Okay. So the next step is we need to have a standard operation procedure, or we call it SOP.
Okay, before we go to the next step, I would like ask you about how about a campaign research and development. How strong you are in a campaign factory, or how you set up R&D and how it work for your company.
We will look into what we call the international aspect and the local aspect. Okay. So in terms of local aspect, I think that we are one of the leading local paint company. Or in other words, we are the only one that having a research and development department. The rest of the local paint company, they do not afford to invest in that, and that is the result that they cannot stay in the market. They disappear from the market. Because they are not able to form up the research and development team. Well, comparing to the international competitors or look at the international aspect, we are working very closely with our partners in other countries. we sending out our team up and down. Okay, every month we receive suppliers, technical person down here in Cambodia, and also we send our people overseas for technical training. Sometimes we work in their labs in other countries to learn more from them. But unfortunately, during this COVID-19, counting from March this year until now, more or less about 7 months. Yeah, 7 months. So this 7 months we have not been traveling to each other because of the what we call it, the lockdown.
Okay.
Yeah, because of the lockdown, because of the quarantine, we therefore just only having what we call a video conference. We work from far away. Yeah, of course we still doing the research and development, but from through the Zoom meeting, through the call, and through email or something like that. Okay, but however, even during this COVID-19 period, we have come up with a few product that is very good product. We still can introduce a few new product into the market. Something like this year we have introduced the what we call the galvanized steel paint. We have introduced one component waterproofing into the market. We have introduced the epoxy water-based paint into the market. So not bad. Even the COVID-19, we still can working with our supplier, our partner from far away, and we managed to introduce a few good product to the market as well.
Okay, now we come back to SOP, standard operation processing. I would like you to explain about theory of the SOP and compare to your reality in your company. Okay.
Actually, why the question is why we need to have SOP. Yeah. SOP is to define the workflow. Yeah. Yeah. Where is the start? Where is the end? Okay. Yeah. Because normally, if you do not have SOP, you don't know where to begin. Which point to begin and which is the end. Yeah. So, and then when you have the SOP, you will also define when you have this problem, where to go next. Yeah. When you have this problem, where to go next. So if you do not have SOP, the problem is that you can start, yeah. But when you face problems, you don't know how to handle the problem. But if you have SOP, when you have problem, you know where to go, where to run to, how to handle it.
It means that you apply your formula, right?
No. SOP is not about applying the formula. SOP is about you already have the formulas. Yeah. Okay, but how to make it right. Okay? Yeah. How to make the correct recipe, how to make the correct formulation. So we need to come up with the SOP, because SOP is telling you where the work is flow. It will start from where, and then it go to where, how long it will take, who will handle it. Okay, and that is we call SOP. It's not about formulation. It's about something to make the formulation success, the formulation right, or something to get the job done correctly. Yeah, or to make the production complete correctly, something like that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And then now I would like you to talk about QA and QC, and then but just now I think you not yet talking about apply. You apply in your company yet?
Not yet. It's about the because you just asked about the ISO. Yeah. How do we why we apply for the ISO certificate, and then what is the use of ISO certificate, something like that. Okay. Actually, let's talk about QA and QC a little bit. Okay. Yeah. QA, or we call it the quality assurance. why need quality assurance? Why you need assure your quality? Because normally there are two quality. Number one is product quality. Number two is service quality. Okay, so when you have a good product quality, and if you have a good service quality, together we call it management quality. Yeah. We have management quality. So when the product is good, when the service is good, that means the management, the whole management is good. So ISO, it is the quality standard that come up with the principle where, you know, if you look back in product management, you will see that they have a guideline, or they have the standard operation procedure how to recruit the suppliers. Yeah. So how to recruit supplier, that means there is an SOP, you know. This is the way to recruit the supplier. This step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. Okay, to recruit the supplier. So let's say when the supplier introduce a raw material, the new raw material, then there must be a method or the SOP before you get this raw material into your formulation. You need to do this step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, because you cannot just simply, you know, pay and get the raw material and then put into your production and start the production. No, you need to follow the procedures to make sure that you have taste the raw material properly before you incorporate the new material into your formulation, and after that you can decide, you know, get the management approval to have this raw material, the new raw material, into your formulation.
It means that the QA, you need to follow the SOP, standard operation processing for QA.
It's not about QA alone. It is everything. Everything they must have SOP. Okay, but likewise the QA also need to have SOP, because something like, okay, dealing with the supplier you have SOP, dealing with customer you have SOP, dealing with the new raw material you have the SOP. As I mentioned, I would emphasize again and again that SOP is the guideline of workflow. Okay,
workflow.
Or the guideline showing you how to do a job. Okay, something like that. Okay, in employment it look like the job description. Okay, but in production, in management, it is a workflow. Okay, it's a workflow. Okay, workflow. So next, after the QA, we will have the QC. Because QC is the quality control, which you need to check during your production process, from what we call is the discharge of raw materials to the packing of the finished good. Okay, so we need to have the quality check. We need to have the quality check from discharge of the raw material during the production, and then you need to check the final product before you pack into the packaging. And then once you packaging, you have to weight it properly to make sure that the label is right, the weight is right, the volume is right before you sign off, you know, for the approval for the product to release. That is not all yet. There are one more thing about Kaizen. Okay. Kaizen is the Japanese word that means is change for good. Okay, that means if you want to change something, if you need to change something because you want to make things better than what you have now, that is why we call it Kaizen. But in English word we call it continuous and never-ending improvement, or in short we call it CANE. So this continuous and never-ending improvement, or CANE, the purpose is that because the world is changing, every day. Yeah. So what you have today, maybe you think that this is good, but tomorrow it may not good. maybe it can be good for tomorrow or next month, but next 6 months or next years, it may be out of date. You need something better than that in order to serve to the market. That is why we need Kaizen, we need quality improvement, we need service improvement. Okay, so in summary, to have a good product, number one, you need to have a trustworthy supplier. Make sure that if you want to go for a very high standard quality product, you need to deal with supplier who is really supplying the high standard quality of raw materials. Secondly, when you're dealing with the high standard supplier, you will have a chance, or you will have a great opportunity to do research and development. So once you can do your research and development very well, you keep yourself updated, you have a very strong team, you can come up with a very good formulation, with a very good recipe, and then the next step, what you need to do is, you do not just relying on the formulation or do not relying on the recipe, but you need to have standard operation procedure to make sure that your workflow or the way that you process is right. Okay. Bear in mind the word that doing the right thing from the first place. Okay. So to do the right thing from the first place, you need to have the SOP that mentioned very clear how to do from the first step to the end. That is the SOP. Secondly, normally we need to have a quality assurance. We need to have quality control. So in order to have quality assurance and the quality control, you need to make sure that from the first place that you buy raw material and pack material to your production, you check it properly, and then you teach to your end user how to consume, how to use your product in the right way. Okay? So that not just you buy the good material, not just that you produce correctly, but they also use your product or consume your product correctly. That is the QA and QC. And finally, it's about Kaizen. So Kaizen is, again, our life need to improve, our product need to improve, our service need to improve. So that is why improvement is so important. Without improvement, our competition, our competitive advantage is getting, inferior. But with improvement, our competition is improving, is getting stronger. That is why we need Kaizen. So I think this is about all, and thank you so much.
I have one more question. More question for you. Last time I come to your factory, I see you put on the wall 5S, but I come this time I see 7S. Is 5S and 7S is a part of Kaizen, or why they develop from 5S to 7S, something like that?
No, this is a two separate thing. The 5S and 7S is the module, what we call it, something like, it's a housekeeping job.
Yeah.
Kaizen is about how to do things better than that, okay? 5S, how to keep the existing nicely, okay, neatly, clean. Kaizen is how to make things better than what we have now. So this is a two separate thing. Okay. To your answer to your question, last time you come and visit, you see 5S, but 5S. Now you see 7S, okay? Yeah. Or in Khmer we call it Soum Sambath, okay? Because actually we add two more S. It's about safety and saving. Yeah, with safety and saving. Because normally the 5S consists of sorting, setting, shining, standardization, and sustainability. So another 2S is about safety and saving. Why we need safety and saving? Yeah, because sometimes, of course, everything is clean, everything organized, but it may be burned down. Okay, it may be dangerous in a certain point that you forget to look at it. So that is why we put safety to make sure that it's not just clean, it's not just organized, but it is very safe. And then also on saving. Yeah. Saving probably something like in today's world, we are not just using electricity, but we're using the solar. Okay. In order to save, it's not just everything we block the sunlight. We need to have sunlight to make sure it is enough light. Even you don't switch on the lights, but it is bright enough to work, something like that. That is a kind of saving. Something like, okay, we have a sensor of our light in the bathroom. As you walk in, then the light will switch on, but when you get out, the light will switch off, something like that. Okay, that is a kind of a saving. Yeah. Okay, so that is why you see a new sign of 7S.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Sambath, for sharing for Business Today program broadcast on TVK, and you talk a lot about strategic P. You talk about partner, people, product, place, and now you talk about product. The product we have 5 factors that to make product have a good quality, like Cam-paint that can compete with the international product from Japan, from France, and from Germany with 5 factors. The first factor is a good supplier, have O&D and SOP, QA, QC, and Kaizen. Thank you, Mr. Sambath, and thank you for audience. Now we would like to say goodbye.